Hello everybody, my name is Whitney Gilliard and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Gilliard & Company. In case you haven't known it, if you're watching or if you're returning back, welcome back to our family. Every year, Gilliard & Company's With Love project provides financial support as well as holiday toy giving to our preservation and prevention unit within our local DFAC system. Our With Love project covers a demographic that a lot of people forget and oftentimes don't see here in our local community. Everywhere we go, we have families that are at risk of losing their children and families being pulled apart simply because of financial burdens, unable to provide food for their children at the table. Those are all very sad things that nobody should have to go through in fear of losing their kids. I definitely remember what that was like for my family growing up. My dad was a single father and he worked really hard to try to make sure that I was underneath his roof. However, there were times where he faced financial struggles. I lived in an apartment where oftentimes I was alone, and I remember the feeling of being a little kid in that apartment. When I think about the families that are part of the With Love project, I remember being that little girl and thinking about those predicaments and circumstances that these children could be in and understanding how frightening it is, but not because that they are unloved, not because they are not wanted in their family, but simply because we have families that are just doing their best to make ends meet and trying their best to provide their own resources. Without Gilliard & Company's With Love project, resources are slim and limited. We provide financial support for these families throughout the year, whether it's getting a gas bill covered, whether it's getting electricity covered, financial support for their rent, for childcare. We jump right on in to be able to support them. Somebody's $20 can be all that they have in their bank account. Your $20 can make it $40, and that $40 can turn into gas that can get them to their next place of work. Somebody needs that $30 that you are donating to be able to provide one meal for their kid during the day, whether that is a cheap meal or whether that is something that they can use to go and purchase a little bit of groceries, perhaps some milk, perhaps some eggs, and perhaps some bread. That is one more additional dollar that they didn't have before. Being poor and broke and facing poverty, it's not a crime. Having a lot of children is not a crime. Living in an area where it may not be satisfactory, but that is the best that you can provide, is not a crime. However, our families that are in the prevention and preservation unit are often treated like second-class citizens, that they don't deserve better, that they don't deserve the most. But I don't believe in that because I used to be in there. I used to be a kid that relied on others to be able to support my family and on services such as what Gilliard & Company is giving. While these families seem to be so far removed from the life that you live in, they're actually not. These very children that we're helping go to the same school that your children go to. They go to the same church. They go to the same hospital, and they are shopping at the same grocery stores that you're in. The best way to provide a more stable, supportive, and intact community is to keep families together. In the very beginning of Gilliard & Company, it was just myself loading up my SUV with a whole bunch of toys and giving it to DFACs, right? I wanted to be able to make sure that the families saw a face to the name. I wanted the families to see that I am not somebody that is esoteric, just giving them something. I didn't want that. The With Love project, it stands for being genuinely able being able to give $1 at a time, genuinely being able to give one toy at a time. Giving with love is giving with all of your heart.